Black Trucking Podcast, the podcast for...
Hey!
Okay. Yes, let's clap for that. We're back.
We're right on it. Right on it.
The podcast...
What do we have today?
The podcast today is going to be around truck insurance and factoring.
Truck insurance. No fraud, right? No fraud.
No fraud.
No fraud.
Legit.
What
Legit.
is insurance fraud?
Insurance fraud? Well,
Is having owning 5 trucks and only having one on the policy and running all 5.
running all 5 trucks under
Let's talk about it.
supposedly.
Let's
sounds
talk about
like a
it.
plan. No, I'm just saying.
Well, times is tough, so
Sometimes you gotta survive, right? So we have our host Melissa and Majin Boo back, and you know we're gonna get right into it because this is like an absolute like headache for a lot of people. I mean, it's our major like pain point, especially financially, for us who have to pay for this. So should I start with my story?
well, I know Melissa, you drove for a while. You was the owner operator, right?
Right.
Sue doesn't drive. She soon will. But she has everything to do with the insurance, and she has her
She
own.
has a small fleet.
Yeah, she has a big fleet of trucks. Okay, she has a big fleet of trucks,
Let's
and
manifest that.
she deals with insurance with what do we call it?
Factoring, the
She
factoring.
deals with the factoring, and she deals with all of that. So let me ask you something: have you had any issues with all this ongoing insurance raising? Insurance this, insurance that. Have you had any issues with insurance?
Yes, I mean, and this is where my story time comes in, right? Because it's even bigger than what the insurance spikes and
Unbelievable.
everything. Like, I just got my MC deactivated due to my insurance company, which is Knight and Coverwell. Okay, not doing their job or not doing their administrative work. They had supposedly what they told me was that they had technical issues and they could not upload my insurance filings on time to the FMCSA so that my insurance could be active, right? My insurance could be active on their portal and for my MC. So because of their mistake, my MC was deactivated. So what happens
An
when-
MC that has been how long? The history?
for 10 years. 10
A
years.
company of 10 years completely deactivated.
No history. Basically, they tried to fix the problems. It took them 3 weeks to fix the problem. In those 3 weeks, I couldn't work because obviously my MC was deactivated. And when they did actually activate my MC again, it was showing the reactivation date of the date that it was, back in active, which was recently, just this year. So once the MC was active, brokers would not work with me because my history was gone. So
You're new.
I'm new. So
Right.
brokers were, they want a year of history. They want DOT inspections done ASAP. So they weren't even taking into consideration any of the years. They have new systems, right? So like usually people can look into your snapshot, right, on for your MC on the FMCSA website, but
On the safer web, right?
on the safer web. But now these brokers, they don't even do that anymore. They just go through like their new systems
Shortcut.
like Highway.
Yeah.
So Highway is going to show my MC starting from the date that it is
Recent.
active. Recent, right? A new activation date. So
All seniority goes out the window.
seniority goes out the window, and all the money that I lost and wasted is just gone. I can probably sue them, but obviously that's a process. And in the meantime, I have no MC. Like I have no money coming in. Like my trucks
And that
are
wasn't even
sitting.
your fault. Like you did everything you had to do. You made your payments, and because of their fault, your whole history
my
of
whole
your company, your
operations
contracts you
is
had are gone.
sitting.
So, how do these insurance work? So, do they work with like, for example, like phones that you have a old plan and you pay X amount of money, or the insurance just update with new charges every X amount of time?
No, so obviously, you you want to insure every truck that you have for anything that might happen, right? So this is basically for liability and cargo. So brokers want you to have, your cargo insurance just in case, to make sure that their merchandise is covered. So if anything happens, they can make a claim to your insurance, and they'll get their money back for their merchandise or general cargo, or general freight. So, and in terms of the truck also is a liability on the road. So we have to cover the trucks in case it has, an accident, somebody hits us, things of that nature. So, per truck, right now the rates are probably, back in the day I used to pay maybe from $12.50 to $18.50 a month per truck. Now we're up I was paying $2,400 per truck.
Cause the coverage used to be $750, now it's up to 1.5, right?
1.5, 100. Before, I usually keep my cargo high to 250, because I just felt like if I did have high cargo, I'd have more chances of getting work and working with certain
better
companies.
work. Yes.
Better work, yeah. So, and better rates. But right now it really doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Now you can get cargo for 100,000 and still work. Still get some good loads. But yeah, so that's how it works. So you pay a portion of your insurance, and usually somebody funds you. There's a company that funds you, and then they pay for the insurance, and you have to pay that funding company every month for the loan that they kind of get paid.
Does that affect the factoring being a new insured?
So factoring is basically you're giving them, they're paying you, basically you're selling them your invoices, right? So they pay you, you do a load, right? Let's say you go from New Jersey to Pennsylvania and the load costs $500, right? So the factoring company, what they do is they come in, you sell them your invoice, you give them the invoice, they give you your $500, but they take a percentage, right? And they bill whoever, the customer.
If you choose not to use a factoring company, you have to wait a certain amount of days until that customer pays you. Not a lot of people have that capital to be, to wait. So they choose a factoring company.
And that customer can take 30 days. It can take 60 days to pay you. You have to chase them. It's like you don't want to be a collection system, especially when you're driving, you want cash flow. So you sell them the invoices and they pay you right away. And, you have money to, you have
cash flow.
Yeah.
Yep. You have operation money. So, when you're a new driver or a new carrier with factoring, obviously the factoring rates are a little higher because you have to, build your reputation. And once you have you make a certain amount of money a month, then you can negotiate with those factoring companies to bring down your percentage. So you might start with a 3.5, and then afterwards, if you make a certain amount of money a month, you can bring it down to 2.5 and things of that nature. But say, for example, what happened to me was, now with the same situation, my insurance, I no longer had insurance. So if you're not insured, the factoring company can't pay you. They hold your money.
Right.
Until, you get the insurance and your insurance is fixed, and then they give you your money. So it's like a double whammy. You're stuck.
And even though factoring is very convenient for owner operators, for small carriers that don't have that capital, they do require you to follow certain steps. You have to provide them with not only the rate confirmation with your company name on it, but you also have to give them the BOL, the bill of lading, the confirmation of delivery. And you have to make sure that everything matches and that nothing was wrong with that load at the time of delivery. They might pay you today, but they hold that for 30 days. And if the broker or the shipper or the receiver comes back and says, hey, this happened with this load, they gonna charge you back that money. So you got to make sure that you do everything the way that you're supposed to do, that you follow all the directions, so your money could just be for you. You don't have to worry about them coming back and saying, okay, we paid you on this day, but the shipper, whoever came back to us telling us that there was something wrong with the load, so now you have to return that money. So factoring is very convenient, is great, but you have to follow the rules and make sure that you do the right thing.
So no money coming in because you have a new insurance and factory is holding your money, right?
Not because you have a new insurance, but because you don't have no insurance. So you have to make sure that your company is running legitimately. Like,
Listen, factoring be in your business, okay? And not
Yeah.
only like, I had the problem with them with insurance, and then I had another problem where I was like making like a lot more money than I was usually, making a month because I hired some owner operators. So we were bringing a whole bunch of cash, like it was a whole bunch of invoices, and they stopped. They didn't fund me because they wanted me to explain where this money was coming from and why this money was coming in. Like, I mean, obviously,
Well, was that factoring or somebody else?
that was factoring. Like,
Oh, they
factoring.
wanted you to explain the invoices.
They want me to explain why all this money was coming in.
Right,
And
right,
they
right.
would not pay me. Like, they won't pay me until they send it to corporate. Like, supposedly they have departments, and they got to send it to this department, and this department got to approve it. So you have to go through a whole process in order to, like, make money, like, for you to grow and stuff. Like, you're growing. Like,
So-
I'm growing. I'm making money.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
why
yeah.
why
Making money
do you
moves.
think they stopped it? Like, what do they require? What does a factoring company require a carrier to give them? Like, what paperwork from the company? How do they know, like, that, okay, I'm making so much money, but why doesn't it make sense to them?
I mean, I'm assuming like they just want to like avoid fraud and stuff like that, but or for safety reasons for them, but they want like the contracts that you have with these owner operators. They want you to let them know when you're adding people and things of that nature. Like they want to know everything about your business because your business could be a liability for them. Remember, they're buying these invoices off of you, and then they got to make sure they get paid.
Yeah, because they're getting the money, so they want to make sure you're not getting them
Yeah, that you're not
by
getting them.
making these false, whatever case might be.
But to me, it's like, okay, if you're getting the invoices and you're getting paid by the customers without a problem, like, what's the problem? Like, why stop paying me because, whatever, because I'm growing or making more money.
Right.
Like, that's crazy to me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe because we know that there's a lot of double brokering happening. Maybe they're trying to crack down on that because I think that's the theme now, and the FMCSA and the Department of Transportation, they want to eliminate the MC. That's the reason why they want to eliminate the MC, so they can just streamline all the companies through that DOT number. We obviously know that Amazon has a whole lot of issues with double brokering. We know people be selling loads, and they're probably trying to protect themselves. So it kind of makes sense, but it's tricky. It could be annoying for sure.
Yeah, and then, like, you're paying these people a lot of money. Like, at the end of the day, 3.5 doesn't sound like a lot of money, but when you actually do the numbers in a year, you know how much money you're giving these people? Like, you could literally, like, create a salary for a person to do all your invoicing and do all of your collections.
Yeah, but it's gonna take you
Right, you
longer
gotta
to
have
get the
that
liquid.
capital.
Yeah, but once you get it, you're good. You save that 3.5. Like, I mean, a lot of people, like, sometimes when we get loans and stuff like that from the bank, we should be using it for things like that, operations, creating departments, creating salaries. But most of the time we use it on fixing the trucks and stuff like that. But, we have to, like, start creating, like,
Think like how to
big
manage
companies,
a
like
good business.
Yeah,
business
we have
management.
to, even if you have a small fleet, think big. Like, don't just think about the moment right now. Think about the future, where you want to be in 5 years. That 3.5% that you're paying a factoring company, you can pay a Department of Collections. Use it to pay a Department of Collections, create jobs for other people, and also grow, bigger than, because you're gonna.
And that's
be
the
making money.
goal. That's the point.
Yeah,
You don't want
for
to
sure.
stay small. You want to grow. You want to get big.
Yeah, and so yeah, I don't know about factoring. I mean, obviously, it's a great thing, it's a great tool, especially if you're starting off, from the beginning.
Have a plan to a year to 5 from the day that you begin to not have to use that factoring company. Have
Yeah.
your own capital. Build your own
What
business account.
factoring company have worked for you, Sue?
So I've only worked with one, which is OTR, Capital Solutions, but I know that there are a couple more. I know I hear a lot of good things from RTS. There's another one that's been calling me. I forget their name.
Is it Triumph?
Triumph is another one. I mean, obviously you have to shop around because once you start having the conversation with these people, you'll kind of like know, like, okay, so how much are you going to charge me per you want to know how much they're going to charge you per invoice. What's their rate, right? What's their percentage?
Sometimes you can get fuel cards from them, so that helps too.
Sometimes they bundle the fuel cards. So you're good because you can put the fuel on the card and then pay
cheaper
from your
fuel too.
invoice.
No,
You save a couple cents. And like
Right.
I said,
they add up.
They add up
right.
at the end of the year. So it's always good to save. It doesn't matter if you're saving 10 cents. It's something.
Saving is saving.
Saving is saving. You don't want to lose. So, you just make sure that the percentage is right. You want to know how much they're going to pay you if you need your money right away, right? Like, how often do they pay? Do they pay every day? Do they pay the next day? Do you have to wait? And if you do want your instant cash or instant pay, are they going to charge you for that? So you want to know stuff like that. And even like the situation that I had, you want to know, once you start making a certain amount of money, can they lower it? Is it negotiable? With the rates. And then obviously if you start adding and you start growing, what are the consequences and what exactly do they want from you as a carrier to,
Bottom line is, make sure y'all read your contracts. Make sure you know what you want and how you want to run your company, so you can be able to make the right decision. Because one wrong decision in the trucking industry will cost you a lot.
Right.
Lose it all.
Going back and forth. You have a new insurance now, right? How will that affect you with any drivers that you might hire or any drivers that you have?
So I didn't get a new insurance. What I did was I had to lease on to someone else. This company called EDM. They have a MC, and basically you lease on to them, and then they give you the cargo insurance. So all I need is bobtail insurance. So now, I pay them through the money that I make, and I'm paying a dispatcher. They're charging me 12% for a dispatcher, and the dispatcher uses their MC to move the work, because I had to figure out a quick solution. Like, I've never been leased on or assigned on to anyone, but I'm like, I can't just sit. I had to make a plan. So I don't have cargo insurance anymore. The company that I'm leased on, they provide me the cargo insurance.
So they weren't able to fix your MC, basically the insurance company.
No, I'm still done. That's an ongoing issue.
That's
I'm
crazy.
still going through it.
Wow. It's tough times call for tough measures.
Yeah, I mean, right now is just trying to get by, making sure that all the bills are paid, because even though operations are at halt, I mean, all the overhead is still there. All the bills are still there. You still have to pay for parking per truck. You still have to I took care of my driver for a whole month because I didn't want him to go anywhere else. So I'm still paying out of pocket for him to just sit. But it's if I don't do that, I might lose him, and also he's been so loyal to my company that I just feel like he deserves that.
He earned that?
He earned that, yeah.
Okay.
Now, Nina, did you hear that? Her driver got paid, okay? Her driver got paid how much? A whole month? A whole month, okay, because she didn't want to lose him, which is shout out to her, and much shout out to him for getting paid. Stay home.
I need a job like that.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't want to say it, but yes, you are definitely a boss lady. That is something to admire, and that is something that I really look for in any employer. For them to recognize what is a good driver.
Yeah, definitely loyalty is a big thing, especially for small companies like me. It's hard because we don't have the brand new equipment, we don't have everything there. You know what I'm saying? I know it gets a little bit more complicated. It's a lot harder on our drivers, but I try to stay as local as possible. I try to keep the hours not as
to
long,
a minimum.
yeah, because sometimes you can't help it. This is trucking.
Yeah.
But I have them home every night. I try to give them that balance. Holidays were off, and anytime that I can do something for them, I'm
Paid
there
holidays
for them.
too?
So, wait a minute. We do Christmas bonuses, okay?
Right.
Christmas bonus
Depending
is
on
excellent.
how hard you work through the year, that determines your bonus in Christmas.
All right.
So show me how much you want it.
So yeah, so it's all about that, but like, I always, try to look out for my people because we're a team. At the end of the day, we're a team. We work together. I can't make this money without you and you can't make this money without me. You know what I'm saying? So like, and we want to be comfortable and we want to have like spaces that, we like to go to work. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or I like
Right.
working with this person. And as long as we maintain that respect and stuff like that, we're good. So yeah, so I mean, in terms of like insurance, like I would say like one of the best insurance that I worked with was Progressive. Progressive was easy. They kept rates to a minimum. You just gotta make sure you don't mess up or have like any major accidents because then they just go up crazy.
Okay.
Progressive is the best to work for you as of now.
As of now, Progressive was one of the best that I've worked with. Yep. So
If I'm not mistaken, I heard that Progressive was the only one insuring trucks at one point.
maybe I'm not sure about the history, but when I started, I mean they were great to me. I started moving around. I don't even know why I moved around. I did. My one of my drivers had like a big accident in New York, so I had to like kind of like move around because my losses. And then I wanted to add some people, and they wouldn't add certain drivers because that's another thing. Certain insurances, like if you have drivers with bad licenses, they don't want to insure.
There's
the
a liability
driver.
to them.
There's a liability. But at that time, like, we had a contract, we had to keep going, and we just were like, we just need somebody, at the moment, like, so we did switch over to insurance companies just to like make sure that we have more flexibility with drivers.
Okay.
And sometimes taking that, it costs us more than what it was to like just keep Progressive and just make sure that we kind of like vet the drivers better. Because if you're not getting accepted by Progressive, I should also accept you on the company. But you go through your things.
How about you, Melissa? How did insurance work with you at the time you was the owner operator?
It was a lease on agreement, so I just paid a flat rate to the person I was leased on to, so I didn't really see any details or anything like that in reference to it. But thank God nothing ever happened to me on the road, so like
Amen to that. Oh, I didn't have no insurance. I don't have no insurance on my car, and I have an old car, which is good. And insurance, I've heard a lot of people complaining about insurance. I think insurance went up. What was I don't know the percentage, but I hear
It's over
everybody talking about
1.5.
$5,000 to $7,000 a year. So that's still a lot of money. And it's very, very, very difficult right now. Tough times, call for tough measures. I don't know what people are gonna do. I don't know what's in their head. I don't know what are their plans. Right now we have Sue, that she has an ongoing issue. Melissa had a great experience doing what she had to do. And to be honest with you, just stay true to what you have. And good luck to you. Really, good luck because it's tough. Insurance is no joke because it's very hard. It's very easy for you to be uninsured, right? But it's very hard for you to keep that insurance running.
without
Well,
that
you
insurance, the wheels can't move. The wheels ain't moving.
The wheels ain't moving, but it's the devil doesn't sleep in his bed. They always say that, right? So that day, God forbid, that day that you went uninsured,
That's gonna be the day.
that's the day that
That's gonna be the day.
the shizness happened.
Right.
You know,
So
that's the day that it happens. So keep that insurance running.
right.
Okay.
Insurance keeps you compliant. Factoring
Period.
keeps you liquid. Balance both, and you stay on the road.
Ah, look at
We
that.
want to stay on the road, but most importantly, learn from people like me. Like, don't be afraid to shop around, negotiate. Like, don't be lazy with this. Like, this is like a very, very important part of the process, right? So, like, make sure you trust the person that you're. Ask the questions. Ask all the questions that you need to.
No question is a dumb question.
No.
You know what's a dumb question? Not asking it.
Not asking it.
So make sure that you do what you have to do, your due diligence, to make sure that you have the right deal for you or the right situation for you and your company. So I just wanted to say that. And that pretty much wraps up our episode for today. Again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being loyal, a loyal audience and listening to us. And I hope that this episode, just like all of our other episodes, are helping millions and millions of people out there.
Right.
Amen to that. I highly appreciate you guys staying tuned with us. I appreciate you guys coming back to see us each and every week. Sue, Melissa, thank you. You ladies are wonderful. It's a pleasure to be right next to y'all. And as always, thank you, Nana Nina.
Thank
Stay
you.
insured, okay?
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, guys.
Make sure you comment. Yeah, comment. The comment space is open. Like, let us know what you think.
Share
if
your
there's any
stories.
insurance agents out there, reach out to me. Any lawyers that want to help me with this case, let me know. Like, call me. Or
do you want to come on the show and talk about your experience and what you do in the business and
how to fix this?
Hit the DM. Hit the DM. Inbox the comment. At it.
Yeah. So, and that's us signing out. Thank you.
Peace.
Have a good night.